Bring the kids, bring grandma and grandpa, heck, bring everyone and come to the Mesquamaket Spring Fest in Westerly, May 10th, 11th, and 12th at Mesquamaket State Beach. You'll find an array of great food trucks, arts and craft vendors, games, rides, and a Ferris wheel with panoramic views. Friday night is John Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band kicking off a weekend of great music on the main stage. It's time for summer at Mesquamaket Beach with Springfest, Mesquamaket.org.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Your Time to Thrive podcast. My name is Jason, and I'm your host. I'm joined by, as always, by my amazing friend, Benjamin Barber, the talented, charming, kind-hearted, wonderfully warm and friendly, patient,
Wi-Fi deficient,
right? Talented. Yeah, I should add deeply talented, given our Wi-Fi limited capacities today and how we actually got up and running here.
We're trying.
Articulate, caring, creative, and let's not forget simple carb.
I am and always will be a simple carb. I'm not a complex carb.
Nope.
No. What are we talking about today, Jay?
We are talking about choose your path.
Okay.
As reference to our choices in our lives.
Okay.
You're actually the precipitation for this conversation today.
Why?
We had a conversation weeks ago about something that you had read that inspired you to be more motivated for the little things.
Okay.
And we talked about how if something or a task or a moment in your life takes less than 2 minutes, you should do it.
Yes.
Right. So we talked at length about that because it was talking about making small changes to create better habits and small efforts in your life that will have long-term impact that oftentimes feel ineffective, such as like making your bed or taking a sip of water, before eating, little things like that, that can certainly change the course of your path and the course of your life then. So the conversation then was about making those changes. Today, we're talking about making those changes on a regular basis.
Yes.
We always talk about what fitness path people are on because this is a fitness podcast.
What?
I know.
What? News to me.
Given the diversity of topics that we discuss, random tangents of life.
Yeah.
No, but it is often the concern for people that they can or cannot make the changes that are necessary to be who they want to be.
Yep.
Right. So I thought it'd be a good conversation to have.
It is a good conversation to have, as most of these conversations are to have. Choosing your path. So the phrase "choosing your path" reminds me immediately of choosing your hard, which is I don't remember who.
David Goggins.
That's David Goggins.
Yeah,
okay.
Choose your hard.
Choose your hard, which is like man living, living at beneath your best self has its own difficulties, right? Like getting out of bed and working out for 30 minutes sucks, but so does not feeling good every day. So does, not being able to play with your kids. So does all of those things. And it's what hard do you want to do?
100%. And it's similar to that thought process. I mean, the next step for all of this is the Robert Frost poem that we all know, talking about the two paths in the woods, and I chose the one less traveled, because that's really what we're choosing at this point. You have a choice every moment of your life, right? You have whatever you're doing, whether you're getting out of bed, whether you're doing your menial task, chores and livelihood things, errands and such, or you're making choices towards your health, or you're making choices to respond versus react. We're constantly choosing. But we tend to choose the easy, right? We tend to choose the more common ones, the ones that we have made those choices before, right? That like truck tire rut thought process that go food place for my lunch, or I always hit the snooze button twice, like whatever those choices are. It is often easier just to stay with what has been and what has been easy. But that's, for me, I see it as more of a perspective thing than an actual effort thing. And that's why I say that this was a precipitation from your conversation. because I've actually been doing those little things recently in my life, you know, as opposed to putting the dishes in the sink and thinking, all right, I'm going to wash dishes at dinner time. So I'll wash my lunch dishes and my dinner dishes at the same time. If it takes me less than 2 minutes to wash a plate and a pan,
Yeah.
I'll just wash them right now.
Yeah.
Those small steps have changed little pieces of my life. And I thank you for that.
Hey, you're welcome.
Well, that's the impact that we have on each other in this world. That's the beautiful thing, right? That those things that we pick up along the way are supposed to be that way, right? Like,
Yeah.
hopefully you have lots of teachers in your life. Hopefully you have lots of mirrors in your life. I think they need acknowledgement too. So thank you.
I don't have any mirrors. I've taken all of the mirrors off of my walls. There's no, you know, I brush my teeth looking into a blank wall. No mirrors here. Also, I haven't been around a teacher since high school, so you know, some college.
I'm surprised you have less shaving nicks then.
Hey, they happen. Okay, they happen.
Especially without a mirror.
Yeah. Well, it helps that I'm just using like a not like it's not like a straight razor. It's
You're
not
using
a
a
blade.
trimmer.
Yeah, I'm using
Yeah.
a trimmer. That's what it's
Trim it
called.
down to the scruff, man.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Do look sharp today, honestly. I'll give you that.
Okay.
So whether it was a mirror or
Stop
not,
you stop.
well, you're having a good hair day, and I get to vicariously.
I'm having a
celebrate
good.
that.
I'm having a good hair. You saw me. I came. You were waiting outside the door, and I came up and I made a beeline to the bathroom across the hall just to wet my hair, and because I'm like one of the. I guess that this actually is the case for a lot of people. But like my hair when I get out of the shower, if I have any length of hair, you know, not just like a fresh cut. If I have any length of hair, then me getting out of the shower and drying it off and letting it dry, it becomes like it's so fine and straight and floofy that like it just becomes kind of puffy and it's like hanging down and like it never like I'm like I have bangs. Why do I have bangs? Like yeah. So you're the second person though in 24 hours that you're the second person in 24 hours though that has mentioned the hair and been like, "Did you get a haircut or something?" I'm like, "Nope, it's water. It's water. I put water in it and then I went like this."
Celebrate that.
Appreciate it though.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'd imagine though that that's a small step in your day, right? To just think a little bit about your hair instead of throwing a hat on.
Yes. Although truth be told, the last 2 days, because I haven't been able to find my hat. There's only one hat that I have that I like. So anyway.
We've talked about that in the past, the simplified decision-making process, right? The less options that you have, the easier it is to make your choices.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Not a bad thing.
Hold on. I might be able to fix the Wi-Fi. You do your thing.
Creative, ingenious, technologically savvy producer Benjamin Barber, folks.
Thank you.
So the concept behind the right path is understanding that there actually is no path. It's not like there is a right path and a wrong path for you as an individual. There literally is just your path. The trick is to follow your joy, to find the pieces that create who you actually believe you are in your heart of hearts. We've had this conversation talking about who we are as we set the alarm at night is different than who we are when we wake up and see the alarm. And
Truth.
The closer you can get yourself in your choices through your day to the person you were when you set that alarm, the better off you'll be. I have a really good coach who told me that in order to have the life that you desire, you just simply need to be the person that you wish to be. Like if you start to choose those paths and those options and those things that are embodied by who you envision that final outcome to be, you will become that person simply through the act of being. And then you create that world around you. Because too often, when we talk about goals, when we talk about fitness, when we talk about life changes, or like we're talking today is choices, it feels in
Okay, yeah, we're good. We're good.
if you're still live with us,
Yeah.
thank you for holding on.
We've switched over to Wi-Fi. We should be much better now.
So less buffering.
Yeah.
So we can hear us live and continuous.
Yeah, we should be good.
Love it. En route. This is like jumping out of the car while it's still moving
I know.
and landing on your feet and just sticking the landing.
Absolutely.
Which I've heard is a terrible idea. You're supposed to tuck and roll.
You are supposed to tuck and roll, but what can you do? All right. Anyway, continue with your thought.
Well, the concept is that we have our opportunities throughout our days and throughout our lives to either choose the things that are more comforting to us in a convenience and an ease of what has already transpired, or we have a choice to choose better or choose differently, or just stay on the path, right? Because if you've already made some choices, like if you wanted to get up early enough to work out today and you actually did, then just keep going in that direction, right? You want to recognize that where your juncture of decision making comes from is whether it's towards your ultimate long-term goals and your ultimate goals for the day and your ultimate value of yourself in that moment, like finding your joy. You know, it's akin to what you've been doing here with the multimedia stuff for years now.
Multimedia.
Well, it's you've created an empire, sir.
No.
It is your world.
That
right?
is not. Okay.
What you are now doing professionally was something that you had only thought possible before COVID.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
But it wasn't something that was like, all right, so in order to get to this destination, you have to do 100 things, and you laid them out in front of you and you're like, all right, I'm going to do A, I'm going to do B, I'm going to do C, I'm going to do D. You just started being the person that people seek out for podcasts, for services in the community that involve the audio video. You know, you've become that person that people look to around here for the sports. You know, I had somebody talk to me the other day because we watched some of the baseball game on the airplane, and we bumped into the athlete and we said, hey, we got to watch your game on the airplane. And they were like, how'd you do that? We're like, 3, 2, 1. He goes, oh yeah, they're broadcasting all the games, right? We're like, yeah, man. It was pretty amazing that we could be anywhere in the country and watch a Westerly baseball game.
That's awesome. I watched the same baseball game, or maybe it was a different game, but one of the same baseball games, at least last week. I watched from an Airbnb in Greenwich, Connecticut. Like, I was we had to go to a memorial service out there, and I was like, Jackie was sleeping, and it had been like a long day and whatever, and I just was like, I don't have to, I'm not there to produce, I'm not there to do anything right now, but the game's on and I can throw it up on the smart TV, and I'm sitting in a living room in this really nice house, like watching 3-2-1 Westerly on TV, on a nice TV in a really nice living room in Greenwich. And I'm like, this is cool.
Yeah.
This is cool. And like, you know, like Dave and Juliana and Greg and Lisa are all there working and whatever. And I'm just like, I didn't have anything. I was not in contact with anybody for this. Like, the machine just ran and it was awesome. And yeah, it was nice.
That's awesome. Congratulations, then. That must have felt amazing to realize the benefit of all of your hard work, right? All those hard choices and all those steps that you took along the way here to get you to where there are steps in the process that are already covered by other people. There is support technologically that's already covered by other people.
It's nice. It's nice. And we'll get to this later. Next week's episode of Your Time to Thrive will be pre-recorded, but there are some changes, and they involve choosing your path. and some of those things. So there are some changes. We'll talk about it in next week's episode that we're going to record immediately when we're done with this one. But yeah, a lot of cool stuff. What about your path? What about what you do?
I change people's lives. It's pretty freaking amazing.
You do? Yeah, you do.
I have had to work hard for a long time at not being responsible for other people's decisions and choices, because even with my best intentions, everybody that I work with is going to make their own choices, right? Some people choose to come see me. Some people choose not to. Some people choose to follow my guidance and advice and suggestions, but it's freely given. So I expect that to be freely taken. I think that's the big piece in this, in that we are all on our own paths, right? So
Yep.
my path gets me up in the morning because I know people are asking for me to be there and are expecting me to be there for them, which is gratifying in just the thought process for me, because it's pretty freaking amazing that I get to help people all day long. But it's still an elective choice, right? They're still choosing their own paths, their own choices in that process. But we often get waylaid, shall we say, or sidelined by other people's choices, right? Because everything that we do functions within the world that we live in, right? So as opposed to operating in a vacuum where nothing would have an impact on each other, all of our choices have an impact on other people too. And I find that that's one of the biggest struggles in our lives, is to be able to know like where your center is, to be able to know where your balance is, to know where you need to be in all of that regardless.
Right.
Right. And we've talked about that in the past, as far as whether it's a meditation reason or a reason from our meditation, right? Like the benefits of meditation are not that you can find calm and peace in that moment. It's so that you can find calm and peace in future moments. So in that sense, knowing who you are as an individual, and then what your joy is, like what you really have passion for in this world, like what gets you out of bed, what helps you think about the future, what helps you want to help other people, what puts you in a forward-thinking process, as opposed to just self-serving, which we're all doing. Like, let's be honest, we're earning money from what we do as a living, right? Which helps us allows us to live the lives that we lead.
Hold on, we're supposed to earn money from what we do for a living? Because I've been messing up big time. If that's the case, if that's what I didn't know that was the goal for this whole thing.
Eventually,
Oops.
the trick was, and you did it, was
sorry, Jackie.
Just follow your passion, follow what actually does help you realize who you really are as a person.
I'm
right?
Ben.
You are. Well, all of these features, like, watching you do some of the live stuff, and like the Misquamicut Spring Fest or Fall Fest or the Washington County Fair, when you're interacting with people, and even when you and I are interacting, when we're doing this, I know that this is a programmed version of who we are, because we're purposely putting information out there. It's not just a live conversation that we're having, but it's still as true to who we are as humans as you and I are normally with each other.
Yeah.
Right. This helps you. I see Ben, like the real Ben, when I see these podcasts, when I watch you interviewing people, when I see you out live in the community and doing your shows, I see who you really are. You're not putting on a character. You're not putting on voices. You're not being something other than who you are. You're being authentic. And I think that's kind of what it means, like to find your joy, is to find your authenticity, find the path that creates that authenticity. And if it's a vocation that allows you that, that's fucking beautiful. I mean, that's the combination of the best of all the worlds, right? The hard part for most people is, like we just said, sarcastically, we still just need to get paid, right? And to chase what makes you feel more alive and still get paid might not be the process, right? So you might have to have a day job, but then you can still chase your dreams and your passions through other avenues and do things like volunteer or spend time in the community, coach, But my suggestion for people that are really struggling out there and that are looking for that sense of worth and that sense of authenticity and that sense of value in the world is to figure out what it is that makes them feel that way. Do some meditations, have some conversations with people, and chase that path. Because if you can't find what really does make you feel more alive, you're never going to feel that. And that's sad to me.
Damn, dude. Mic drop.
Well, here's the piece, because I always use the Serenity Prayer as a big founding for
From Seinfeld?
yes.
Serenity now. Sorry. Yeah.
Well, if you could discern between the things that you can change and the things that you can't change, and then the core one for me in that is the wisdom, because you can have the serenity to accept that which you cannot change. You can have the courage to change the things that which you can. But if you can have the wisdom to understand the difference between the two, there's a lot of freedom in that. There's a lot of freedom in that.
I don't. That's pretty perfectly said, honestly.
Because what do you have choice over, right? Like, what do you have choice over? What can you change? If you can affect a change in something, then you just have to step up and do it. If it takes less than 2 minutes, then just do it, right?
Yep.
And if it doesn't, then write out an outline to see what it takes to create that world for yourself, like to see what that takes. If you can't change it, then let go of it.
Yeah.
I had a really good conversation with one of my college best friends this weekend. We surprised one of our other college best friends with a birthday.
Oh, wow.
So shout out to Jim, who just turned 50.
Happy birthday, Jim.
Should be noted, he's a little bit older than I am.
Jimbo,
not there yet.
Big Jim.
But, Big Jim.
I don't know.
He's literally my oldest college friend. Like, he was one of the first friends that I made in college, and I've known him the longest from college, which is pretty cool. But he was my other buddy was talking about how he's learned to be it's curling. In the sport curling, there's the pusher, right? Like the guy that just kind of like pushes the block out there and then just kind of waits.
Yeah.
And then the other guys are furiously brushing and sweeping at the other end of the court. But you have to put out into this world your best, right? Your best intentions, your best efforts, your best actions, your best choices. And then you kind of have to let it go.
Yep.
Right? You have to let that stone go, whether it's a person that you know isn't going to be helpful to you, it's a job that's not helpful to you, it's a place you live that's not helpful to you, or it's an action and choice that's not beneficial to you. You have to learn to let go of those things. In the same way that if you put things out there, like these shows that you were doing for other people, you were doing a service for people right through COVID. It wasn't like you were saying, all right, I need to make money doing this. People reached out to you in the community and said, I need help to be able to reach out to my people. Like Father Sunil, he wanted to reach out to more people. He wanted to reach out to people, the church. And you said, you know what? We could do that on the internet. Like, we could put that out. We could do a podcast. We could actually broadcast your church services. And that now became what? A nationwide thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's an international production now, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's pretty freaking amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just by knowing what you could control and what you couldn't control.
Yeah. I mean, I think that, focusing on the things that you can't control. I mean, it's literally the Serenity Prayer that you just said, right? Focusing on the things that you can't control and letting go of the things that you can't, and knowing the difference that's everything. And when you look at your own path, when you look at what that is going to look like, it's sort of surreal. Like, I don't remember who it was, but I did a show once where somebody was talking about how the path in front of you is like fresh fallen snow. You actually can't see where it leads. You can't really see the path in front of you. But wherever you're standing on fresh fallen snow, you can look behind you and see the path that you've already taken, right? So you can kind of see, like, you can look behind you and go, okay, those are the steps that I've taken to get here. And if I don't like that, maybe I should change direction. And you're not really going to know what's in front of you. But, and this is something I say all the time, and I'm switching metaphors right now, but something that I say all the time is, like, I don't care when I get there to this thing that's coming up. I don't care when I get there, but I want to walk in that direction. That's that was one of the first conversations that Jackie and I ever had, defining what we were looking for. Was, I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is going to be. This is the direction I want to walk in. We can go as slow as possible. I don't care. But this is the direction that I'm thinking that we're walking in. Are we walking in the same? I don't care if I'm a couple steps ahead or a couple steps behind. And I don't care I don't care when we get there. Is this the direction that we're walking in? I'm happy. I'm good. You know, it really is about the journey. It really is about falling in love with the process of whatever it is that you're doing. And if you can be happy in the process, then you're never going to be happy at the destination, because a destination never feels like a destination in life. There's no moment in life where you're like, where you win the Super Bowl. You can actually win the Super Bowl if you're, if you do that, or you can win an award, or you can get the promotion or get the whatever, right? But like, the story doesn't stop until you're gone. The story doesn't stop. So you're like, what do I do now? Great. I did that. Yay. Good for me. Go team. What do I do now? And that can be rough.
Yeah.
Like, if you are only focused on that destination, that's why so many people that achieve great things are not happy, because they were only ever focused on the destination. And you really have to, and if you don't love all the things that you're doing in the direction that you're walking, you're not going to do it. And you're never going to get to that destination, right? Because you're going to go like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. I don't want to, do the things that I need to do to build this business. I don't want to do the things that I need to do to get in better shape. I don't want to actually communicate with my partner. Well, maybe you don't want to be with that person.
Right?
Like, these are choosing your path is something that you have to do every day.
100%.
You have to continue walking down the same path that you want to walk down. And every decision that you make is a fork in the road.
Yeah, 100%. And it really shouldn't feel like the easy path, but it's like I've always analogized the feeling of the wave when we're body surfing, that it should feel, once you've made that choice, like that was the right choice, right? Like it should feel like, oh, that shoe fits, or, oh yeah, I like this chair, like I should feel comfortable in that, but it shouldn't feel comfortable to make those choices. The easy path, the easy choice is not the right path, because the easy path is the comfort choice. That's the not changing.
Yep.
It's easy to stay in an uncomfortable setting or an uncomfortable job or an uncomfortable relationship compared to moving and changing. And I speak from experience on that you having to make hard choices in your life doesn't mean that the choice is hard. It means that the process is going to be worth it. It means that you're going to get through something that's going to be worth it on the other side. And that's why we do it. That's the whole David Goggins thing. It's not choose to make something challenging. I don't choose to do something I don't choose to work out because it's going to be hard to do that. I choose to work out because I want the end result. You want what you get from doing it, not the destination of having finished the workout.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Yep. That destination focus is a real challenge for most people. As soon as somebody sits down with me for the first time and they start talking about, I want to lose X amount of weight, I immediately start pushing them away from that and trying to get them to focus on the habits and the lifestyles and the feelings that are going to be around that. Because you're absolutely right. Because once you win the Super Bowl, you go to Disney World, and then now what? They start preparing for the next season. It's not like anybody on a team that ever won the Super Bowl just immediately stopped playing football.
Yep.
You might retire after that at some point, but that's a whole nother life choice, right?
Yep.
But they don't. The Super Bowl doesn't mean the football season.
And then what? You're
ends.
38, and you're like these professional, like Jason Kelce, right? Is somebody who's won a Super Bowl, lost a Super Bowl, one of the biggest stars on the planet right now, future Hall of Famer, all of this stuff, right? Jason Kelce's like 6 months older than I am. Like,
What are you going to do for 60 years, Jay?
Yeah, Jason Kelsey, like it's like, oh, it's the end of his career. Like goodbye, he's retiring. All of this stuff, right? Like Jason Kelsey and I were born in the same year, and I'm young as like what, like that's a. There's a reason why people call the NFL not for long. Like, and he's had a long storied career, right? And nobody's like, almost nobody's Tom Brady, who plays for 20 plus years at the highest level and all of that stuff, right? So like these athletes and stuff, like you win the Super Bowl, you win an Olympic gold medal, you're like 23. You know, in the most, and that's where a lot of people struggle and a lot of athletes struggle.
Right.
Like they try these whole thing, they try their whole life for something, and they've been doing it since they were 3 years old, 4 years old, and then they're 34 and they're like, I'm done. What do I do?
Now what?
And like, a lot of them go on to be like successful entrepreneurs or whatever, and that's great. And like a lot of them find ways to be happy. A lot of them don't. And then they deal with the depression and they deal with a bunch of other stuff because they put their entire life in this thing that was a destination, and it was an early out destination, like the majority of those people have like 50, 60 years to live.
Yeah. Hopefully. Right.
and what do you do then?
Well, hopefully you have a lot more in your life than just one career thing, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. You're uncomfortable.
Yeah, my back
friend.
hurts.
I'm so sorry, but
I'm moving heavy.
There. I've been there.
Moving boxes
stuff.
And bins and stuff all week.
It's good steps though. It's really good steps.
Yeah.
How have you been doing other than that? We talked about a 6-week plan a couple of weeks ago for you, staying focused and what we could do that would be a simple, repeatable process of a little bit of self-care over this trying, challenging, and transitional time in your life.
I'm going to ask you something. I said 5 weeks ago, that you would be able to look across the table and tell me how I'm doing just by looking at me. How do you think I'm doing?
I think you're doing pretty good, actually.
Other than the fact that I'm struggling to move in a chair right now because my back hurts, but my back also hurts because I have been doing a lot of functional stuff and moving stuff, and like my room right now looks like a disaster area because there's so many bins and boxes and heavy bags and like laundry bags filled with not laundry bags, like lawn and leaf bags filled with clothes, and like that I'm just like picking up and throwing over here and doing all of this stuff. And
you wonder why your back hurts.
Then I went to Jackie's house and helped her move a bunch of stuff, and we had this really heavy bin that was on her bed, and she was like, do you need me to grab that with you and take it to the floor? And I was like, nope, I got it. And like it's a huge thing, like we just stuffed everything in there. There's like 100 pounds of paper in there. And I'm like, yeah, I got it. Let me just move that over here 4 steps. And yeah. So anyway, no, I've been doing pretty good with everything.
Good.
Focusing on, staying in a caloric deficit every day. I've been averaging about 2,500 calories a day, which is like 1,400 calories less than I need to maintain.
Yeah.
Which is good and a ridiculous amount of calories. I'm a gigantic guy. Like, so, anything under like 3,500 calories is losing. So I've been staying at about 2,500 calories a day. Some morning walks when the weather's been good. And when I haven't been super busy, trying to prioritize my sleep. Water's been decent, not as good as it should be. There was a day, when I saw Jackie like later at night, and I took some water and I went, I think that was my second sip of liquid today. And she was like, would you have coffee this morning or something? I was like, nope, I took my anxiety medication in the morning with one swig of water, and I think I didn't do anything else until right now. It's like 7 p.m. She was like, okay, come on. Nope. But anyway, yeah, other than that, no, like I feel pretty good on a day-to-day basis. Like I've been doing pretty good. And some things like tomorrow I'm doing a convention all day in our conference, the Caregivers Journey conference for the Alzheimer's Association. So like that's probably going to be like 12,000 steps and
Yeah,
like
easily.
stuff like that. So it's a little bit of everything with the duck race on Saturday.
Mhm.
So yeah, I've been doing pretty good. Not as strict as I want to be in some ways, but I'm also being forgiving of myself.
I think that's important along
And
the
to
way.
make it like, I've had some complex carbs. I had a chicken sandwich last night at Surf Cantina with a bun. I had
It's okay.
I had pancakes in Greenwich, and I had a breakfast sandwich at B&B Dockside, and like some stuff like that. But I also, the day I had a breakfast sandwich at B&B Dockside, I walked like 17,000 steps that day. So
That's solid. I love B&B. We just had breakfast there the other day, actually.
delicious.
Yeah, so good. Big fat omelet. I like their roast beef hash, actually. Shout out to Meg and TK over there. They're pretty amazing. Local family-owned restaurants around here. Love it. Well done, sir. Maybe that's what people are seeing. You've had multiple compliments over the last couple of days, and they're attributing it to your hair. Maybe people are seeing that in you. They're seeing a little bit more less stress and a little bit more sleep and a little bit better food. So that's kind of what we were talking about, right? That you would know the difference.
Yep.
Stress levels change us, sleep levels change us. I always find that those basics, right? Like that reset to I'm going to drink more water. I'm going to get more sleep, and it's not like you have to be deliberate about your caloric intake or deliberate about your water intake. It's not measuring numbers or anything like that. It's just improvements, right? Small steps, repeatable, maintainable. Keep going.
Absolutely. All right. We're gonna what's your quote for the day? Because we're gonna record a quick episode for next week.
Sounds good. All right. So this podcast was mostly attributed to you because we were talking about those like small steps and those choices that we can make that are going to make a long-term impact. But I was reading this story the other day about Pat Tillman. You remember who Pat Tillman is?
Yeah.
And how he was somebody that had been given an opportunity. He was offered a contract through the NFL. And like you said, not for long, right? Like it's not guaranteed for long term. He was a young guy. He was fit. He was athletic. And he chose, based on what had happened during 9/11, the Afghanistan war, to volunteer to serve. He actually voluntarily joined the army and went into service and was killed overseas because of that. Not because of his volunteering, obviously, but because he was part of that service. And his story is much deeper than that and much more than that. But I thought this quote that I pulled up was pretty powerful, and it meant the same that we've been talking about today. So, Mr. Patrick Tillman, the late Patrick Tillman, somewhere inside we hear a voice. It leads us in the direction of the person we wish to become, but it is up to us whether or not to follow. Isn't that cool?
That's
Not a great quote?
That's a great quote.
Because we all do have that voice.
You already know the majority of the things that you should do.
Yeah.
From time to time, you just got to listen.
Yeah. Listen to the right voice, that right angel, as opposed to the left angel, or whichever side the trash talker is on. Listen to the voice that leads you in the direction where you want to go, not where the direction that's easy, where it's comfortable, where it's, based on scrolling through BS on our phones, or whether it's just choosing the French fries, but the decision that makes you feel more alive and becoming the person that you really deserve to be.
Absolutely.
So that's it. Dedicated to Mr. Benjamin Barber. Today's podcast was brought to you by our local vendors.
Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll be back next week with a smaller, shorter show, just to go through some things, and then some announcements and stuff that you can see then. So thank you guys so much.
Thank
Listen
you,
to the
guys.
Pancake Angel too. Good. Thanks, Paul.
We do listen to the Pancake Angel occasionally too, Paul. We get our protein, but we listen to that Pancake Angel. Thank you so much, friends. Have a great and healthy day, and we'll talk to you soon.
Experience local excellence with Roofright Roofing in Charlestown, Rhode Island. With over 40 years of unmatched expertise, Roofright specializes in architectural shingles and holds the prestigious title of GAF Master Elite Installers. Known for their commitment to the community and support for local initiatives, Roofright is your trusted partner for all of your home's roofing needs. Call today for a free estimate at 401-212-4140.
Hi, this is Dan from Lathrop Insurance. In this challenging insurance environment, Lathrop Insurance can be your beacon in the storm to help you find the coverage you need at the right price. Now, more than ever, you need a partner in the insurance industry that can work with multiple carriers to make sure you have the right coverage at the right price. Lathrop Insurance carries home, auto, and business insurance and can be reached at 401-596-2525. We've been supporting the local community since 1939, and we look forward to working with you.
Ever thought about leveling up your fitness game in a fun and meaningful way? Kiefer's Martial Arts on Granite Street has everything you're looking for. Kickboxing, Muay Thai, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and of course, adult karate. It's not just about getting fit, it's about building your self-confidence, discipline, and that unstoppable feeling you get from all your hard work. Stop into Kiefer's Martial Arts today to sign up.
Are you looking for a fresh cut in Westerly? Step into Rio's Barber Shop in Granite Plaza. Whether it's a classic trim or a trendy new look, we've got you covered. Experience the perfect cut for every age and style in a friendly and relaxed atmosphere. At Rio's, it's not just a haircut, it's an experience. Visit Rio's Barber Shop in the Granite Plaza in Westerly or give us a call to schedule your appointment at 401-315-2208. Your style, our craft, Rio's Barber Shop.
Hot summers and cold winters can be unbearable, but D&V Mechanical has the solution for you. As a Mitsubishi Diamond dealer, we provide energy-efficient and personalized comfort solutions for your home. Our experienced technicians will install your new system quickly and efficiently, ensuring your complete satisfaction. Don't suffer through another season of discomfort. Contact D&V Mechanical today for a personalized ductless mini-split installation that fits your lifestyle. D&V Mechanical, your comfort is our top priority.
What's going on, Westerly? It's Patrick down here at the Wireless Zone at Dunn's Corners, Verizon authorized retailer. And right now is the best time to come on in and get a brand new phone. We are offering our hottest new 5G phones, the iPhone 15, the S24 Pixel 8 for free with a trade-in. And the best part is 5G is finally coming down here to Westerly and the surrounding areas. So make sure you're on the best network and get it for free when you're on the right plan. Come see us at 224 Post Road.
The Thirsty Beaver Hometown Pub and Grub in Dunn's Corners is your ultimate destination for refreshing drinks, delectable dishes, and memorable moments with family and friends. Enjoy live music, DJ trivia every Wednesday night, and we're now the official spot to come watch and root for your favorite Westerly High School sports teams. The Thirsty Beaver, located at 265 Post Road, Spindrift Village, Westerly.